So let's go ahead and de-escalate things. I'm going to do just a fun list. I went through lists of players who've never won a Stanley Cup. And I said, okay, now in my lifetime, players who've either retired or are likely to retire this offseason, who is it saddest never won a cup? I went with 13 because I couldn't go with 10. If I went with 10, there are two guys who are at 11 and 13 you guys would be asking about. You guys would be like, hey, what about Shane Doan? Yeah, Shane Doan for me is 13th. Played a long time in Phoenix/Arizona. Winnipeg prior to that. And really had earned himself something more than what he got for all his work. I was really hoping he'd be a rental last year just so he'd go to a cup contender. If he signs anywhere, I hope it's with a cup contender. Number 12, Peter Stastny. I've talked about Stastny before. Fantastic talent, one of the best scorers of the 80s. It's just there was some guy named Gretzky that was ahead of him, so people didn't pay as much attention to him. Number 11, Jarome Iginla, who famously got close with Calgary, but close really doesn't count. If it did, I wouldn't have to deal with people talking about how the Sundins don't play well in the playoffs, would I? Number 10, so we're in the top 10 now. Paul Kariya, proving I haven't always hated the Mighty Ducks. Yes, Mighty Ducks, not just Ducks, Mighty Ducks. Paul Kariya is on the list, top 10. It's sad that he didn't win a Stanley Cup in Anaheim in 2007. It was sad that he missed that, because he really deserved it. Number 9, Cujo. When Curtis Joseph went to the Detroit Red Wings, I really believed, okay, finally, Curtis Joseph's going to get his Stanley Cup win. I had watched him play fantastic in the playoffs for St. Louis and Edmonton. I really believed, and he played great for Toronto, and I really believed that this run with Detroit, he'd finally win a Stanley Cup, and he could put that on his mantle, and no. And it was too bad. Great goaltender. Number 8, Adam Oates. Played probably... Oh, geez. I'm going to take flack for this, too, but I'll go ahead and say it. I think he was the best pure passer I ever saw. And Henrik Sedin and Joe Thornton are fantastic. Wayne Gretzky was great, too, but Adam Oates got Brett Hull to 86 goals and then got Cam Neely 50 goals in 50 games. Brett Hull never got close to those totals again when he got away from Adam Oates. Cam Neely never got 50 and 50 or even close to that again without Adam Oates. So he really was able to transform great goal scorers into magnificent goal scorers. Number 7, Pavel Bure, whose legs wouldn't carry him for very, very long in his career. It ended short, and his election into the Hall of Fame, I think, is what paved the way for Lindros. The fact that Neely, Bure, and Lindros all got in after injury-shortened careers, you can debate whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't have an opinion one way or the other, but I know before the three of them got in, there was an opinion of they didn't play long enough, they didn't play enough games to really, truly be Hall of Famers. I heard that. Number 6, Eric Lindros. 97, he gets Philly into the Stanley Cup final. I remember there was a belief at the time. The next one has finally arrived. Lindros is finally here. Mark Messier said he's the best player of his generation. His speed, his size, his ability. Nobody's ever had that combination before. And sadly, that combination got taken away from him via injuries and just... and then issues between him and Philly. I don't know that he ever played as well anywhere else as he did in Philly, and then his time in Philly was marred by his poor relationship with Bobby Clarke. And the concussions, and Bobby Clarke not understanding that concussions aren't a physical thing. They're up here. You can't see a concussion. So while a player may look perfectly fine and may look like he's able to get on the ice, he can't. So Bobby Clarke, being old school, it was, you got your bell rung, get back on the ice. He never really quite got on board with Lindros needing some help with that. Number 5, Dale Hawerchuk. Oh, geez, look at that. There we go. Number 5, Dale Hawerchuk. Played forever for Winnipeg, and then he played for Buffalo, and it was sad that he was never on a team that he could really be showcased by the NHL. Howard Chuck was a fantastic talent who was marred by being on poor to middling teams. Number 4, Marcel Dionne. Before Gretzky came along and saved California's sole team at the time in LA, Marcel Dionne proudly wore the purple and gold, or it was royal blue according to the owner, because he didn't want to say purple, that was a girl color. It was purple. Purple and gold, and Marcel Dionne wore it well, scored tons of points. There was this kid named Gretzky, though, that got all the headlines at the time. Number 3, Mike Gartner. Great goal scorer, fantastically fast skater. You could really underestimate how fast he was until they had the talent competitions, and his speed was off the charts. He was really a fantastic player and always seemed like a really nice guy, too. And it was a shame that he never got a Stanley Cup. Number 2, this should please many in the crowd, Matt Sundin. He played in Toronto for a long time, and that was after playing in Quebec. And he really deserved a better finish to his career than what he got in Vancouver. It was too bad that he played that 1 year in Vancouver. It was marred by the weird part with his contract where Mike Gillis was offering him $11 billion for half a season's work. It's the only time I can think of where a player looked at a contract and said, "That's too much money. I'm not taking that." And Sundin won my respect for that, and it's a shame he never got a cup ring. And number 1, because of me, and it's me, and I always thought the fact that Cam Neely never got a Stanley Cup was criminal. Cam Neely was absolutely a warrior. To me, he's the epitome of a Canadian hockey player. He was big, he was tough, he didn't cross the line. He could fight if he had to. He could score. He could pass. His passing was underrated. And he also seemed like a really nice guy off the ice. And now that he's in an ownership role he's in a management role. I didn't mean ownership. He's in a management role. I'm thinking Lemieux here. Management role with the Bruins. Nothing but respect for Mr. Neely. So there's my list of 13 legends, no cups, the 13 legends that it is a crying shame to me that they didn't win a Stanley Cup. Phil Housley gets an honorable mention here. Housley played with a lot of teams, none that had a tremendous amount of success in the playoffs, but he was always willing to give it a shot somewhere else. And remember, this is only current players, so if any Rangers fans are going, "Where's Lundqvist?" Lundqvist is still an active player, so he doesn't qualify for this list. And I really honestly think both Doan and Iginla are going to retire. So that's why they're on here. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you're just browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I hope we can all be friends now. This is just one of those friendly list videos. And I'll be doing another jersey countdown by the end of the night. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.